All right, guys, let's welcome Lou and David from Jesus Peace to New Pod here on KNOTFEST.com. Louder Than Life 2023. Guys, how are we doing today?
Doing good.
Amazing.
How is the tour going so far?
It's our last day, then we have a 10-hour drive back to Philly and New York. It's been good.
Yeah, it's been awesome. Hatebreed's awesome.
Yeah, thank you, Hatebreed.
Nice. So talk about getting a tour with Hatebreed and just those guys being kind of a seminal part of like the hardcore scene for so long, and kind of the grandfathers or whatnot of just kind of not only keeping it going but breaking through that barrier and kind of taking hardcore to the mainstream.
They kind of were the first. I was like, you saying that, it's like you think about stuff like that, like who like really paved the way. I mean, you're talking about I'm 31, so I'm still younger than whatever, but Satisfaction and like Perseverance are like, it's kind of crazy thinking about it. Like, you know what I mean, when you take a step back. But touring with them has been was awesome. So
yeah, it was really cool, and we used to cover them actually when we first started being a band. Yeah, and it was just nice. It was just cool to kind of make it full circle. But yeah, this is just the kind of the beginning of our next 4-month tour journey. So I'm just happy to have started it with them.
Absolutely. Yeah, when Satisfaction came out in the mid-90s, man, it was such a great record, and then they kind of kept going. But even as a nu metal kid, I loved Hatebreed, but I was still like, all the nu metal guys were on MTV and things like that. But a lot of those bands that were kind of the flavor of the month nu metal bands came and went, but Hatebreed kind of just stayed steady. And as a kid, I was like, well, this will never get popular mainstream. And then Hatebreed's kind of on the edge of popular mainstream. How about that?
I mean, weren't they in like Triple X or something like that?
Yeah, a couple of movie soundtracks. Yeah.
I mean, I think that's one of the first times I ever. I mean, besides I think they were in a video game too, but I don't know. They just are like the perfect I need to get through this tough moment like.
we were on the tour, we were talking about their lyrics and just like how it's like you want to be metaphorical and you want to really think about stuff, but they're just like, perseverance,
destroy everything.
Come on, bro.
Well, I love about the lyrics, and we'll move on from Hatebreed. Obviously, we'll talk more Jesus Peace. But what I love about Hatebreed lyrics is there's destroy everything. You're like, yeah, that's cool. But then you get into the lyrics, and what he's saying is destroy everything that brings you down. And you're like, it's so it hits you one way, and then you actually listen to the lyrics, and he's actually sneaking up a positive message behind it.
I mean, hey, not everyone's poetic, and that's fine. And if you can relate to it, that's sick. And I mean, anybody can relate to that. So yeah, it works.
So let's talk a little bit about So Unknown, man. Now that it's out, everybody getting into it and stuff like that. Talk about fan reaction to the latest album.
I mean, I think it's been received as well as I ever thought it would be. Yeah. After we didn't do much for about 4 or 5 years, including the COVID thing. I think everyone has received it super well. It was our first music videos ever. I'm extremely happy with it, and now we're just gonna keep touring hard as hell off of it. We're already thinking about what's gonna come next, but yeah, we're just kind of taking it all in.
Yeah, I mean, we wrote the record in 2021, so it coming out this year, we are touring until pretty much Christmas, and then January I'm gonna rent a cabin in the woods and start writing music. That's my goal.
So no one has to wait for 5 more years.
Right.
Hopefully.
Well, a lot of cabins around here, obviously around Kentucky, so I think you'd be fine if you want to come out this way.
That'd be nice.
Might be a little bit more of a country feel to it, though, maybe.
We're from Pennsylvania, so.
I want winter. I want darkness.
Winter and darkness. It's going to be a slow, typo-negative, drudgy album.
Yeah.
No, man, when I hit play on So Unknown, it's just one of those things where as soon as it comes on, that big grin comes on your face, it just hits you in the face, and just I just absolutely loved it, man.
I mean, yeah, literally the first song, we were like, do we do an intro? No. This is what we've been wanting to do. This is, I think, the biggest thing for me, at least, I can speak on, is I really wanted to portray the live feeling of how we are. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people get into us by seeing us live and seeing our videos on wherever, or just seeing us in passing. And they're like, wow, I was not expecting that, because recorded it feels much different. Right. So capturing that aggressiveness was really important to me.
Yeah, I mean, literally, I kind of, on a separate end of it, with you were saying, no intro or whatever, it's we didn't want to write a record that any filler, whatever. We liked our last record, but I feel the last 2 songs were kind of more of an expression of just this kind of cool sound or whatever, and we have a few riffs here and there, but this one was all right, how can we make a song 2 to 3 minutes long that there is no part where you're all right, what's the next part, right. And then do that for 30 minutes, and that was the
Yeah, verse chorus is not in the plans. We're just gonna,
we're trying to get better at it. There's some songs where we're like, all right, come on, guys, we gotta write a song. We can't just write badass riffs and just go off that. But we're focusing on that, and I think next record will kind of embrace that more.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than like writing a song that like starts at A, ends at F, and then not tuning wise, but I'm saying like starts at one point, ends in a totally different place, and the singer goes like, "What am I gonna do with this? Like, what are you guys doing?"
Yeah,
some sort of experimental jams.
Kind of our one song is like that, like Offering, kind of. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Some of our songs are like that, but Aaron really works with it, and sometimes we don't even realize it. We're just in the fucking studio, wherever, just going for it. So I don't know. Just ends up that way.
All right, before we dive into the Deftones shirt, which is nice that no one's wore a Deftones shirt on the new pod, so you get that. Let's talk about the infamous Dropkick heard around the world. Where did you guys, from your angles, kind of see that happening?
The Dropkick, like, are you referring to Aaron's Dropkick to our friend? Yeah, it was in Japan. It was during a Blood Axe festival that our friend Koba puts on.
Yeah.
He's like one of the big guys who brings all the hardcore bands to Japan. Literally,
that's happening this weekend, by the way. Blood Axe Festival.
It's literally happening right now. I think it happens twice a year, actually. I think the whole thing was Aaron. We brought our friend Corey with us.
Well, I feel like we actually have two friends that from our, when we first started, Corey and this dude Josh. And Corey is the one in the video, and he always moshes on stage. I mean, he's in like mad Hate 5-6 videos, but I think it's one of those things where he like goes insanely hard, and I think Aaron was just like,
well, no. I know the actual story.
All right, let's go.
Aaron told me. The night before, Aaron was singing, and Corey hit him on purpose. Like they were singing a song part together, and Corey like hit him really hard or did something
right, okay,
that hurt him. And then Aaron was like, I'm gonna get you back. I don't know if it was in the beginning of the tour or whatever, but Corey was like really nervous all tour because he's like, Aaron's like, I'm gonna get you back because you punched me in my face.
Right.
And then that was the moment. Corey came on stage to sing that part, and then Aaron did that. That's literally what he told me. This is Dave did not know that, but that's a direct quote from Aaron. If anybody wants to comment, I'll tell him to verify.
Knowledge is half the battle, but yeah, even like all of the memes and everything that came from it, and putting the WWE commentary over it, all that stuff, man, it's so much fun to sit down and watch, man.
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, that stuff just happens. We don't even that was never planned.
Right.
It just happened.
Well, that's how it is. The things that you guys sit down for months, you're like, all right, here's the album release, and here's what we're gonna do, and then something like that happens, and like, oh, that's all we have to do.
I mean, yeah, that's kind of what happened in our last tour with the band Show Me the Body. Somebody just started breathing fire in this venue that definitely did not like that.
Right.
We did not plan that, but it was another thing that kind of went viral. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Too much fun. All right, well, let's dive into your Deftones take that we had earlier, man. This being new pod, I brought up Deftones, and you had something to say. Yeah,
Deftones are not new metal. I will die on that hill, and I feel like I see people like, I don't know. People have have pushed back on it, but first record, I will say it's a new metal record,
right?
But I don't think they're a new metal band,
right?
Because if you take Saturday Night Wrist, and a good majority of White Pony, a good majority, I'm not going to name all the records, but the point is, right, is that outside of Adrenaline and Back to School,
right,
how are you gonna tell me Cherry Waves is gonna sound like Coal Chamber? I don't know their songs, right, but I'm saying that stuff. Because I don't hate new metal, but that's not my thing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. We both like System of a Down,
right, and
Deftones, Slipknot, the usual suspects. But when you kind of get that, even the biggest Freak on a Leash, or Eyeless, any of these songs, how are you going to tell me that any Deftones song, even off of Adrenaline,
right?
Except like I said, you're talking about other than the I forget the one, but I'm just
7 Words or Engine Number 9.
Yeah, 7 Words. That's
Okay,
of course that's a new metal riff,
right?
You know what I mean? Back to School, of course. I mean, he's
right,
the groove and the rap,
and everything. Yeah.
Even half of I would say Digital Bath, bro. That's not a new metal song.
I'm gonna say something. Okay. I'm not. He's a bigger Deftones fan than me.
Right.
I will say this. I agree with both sides because I think it's less about calling Deftones a new metal band and more just boxing them in as a new metal band,
right,
because they're so broad,
okay,
and they have so many different types of sounds and an interesting they're like amazing musicians, and I feel like new metal is very like limiting sounding.
I was gonna say, I think they're their own band. There is not, other than that new band Load that came out, everyone's tried to do it, but they can't, and it's their own thing. That's why new metal to me is not the right descriptor. Because they have things, but overall, I don't think they're a new metal band.
I think with the term new metal, we've talked about it on the show. I think it's an encompassing thing where, like, hardcore, has a sound, but new metal kind of has like more of an aesthetic where it's like, because System of a Down is considered new metal, but you've also got like Static X, and then you've got you've got industrial new metal, you've got this new metal, you've got horny new metal, which is Deftones. You know what I'm saying? Like you've got all this stuff going on.
I definitely agree with you.
And so it's not necessarily a descriptor of sound. I think it's more of like an era or a.
It's definitely an aesthetic.
Yeah,
I agree with that for sure. Yeah.
Because if you want to sit back, because I think new metal is a term that's kind of more encompassing. Now, if you said rap metal, no, I would say absolutely not. But you would then you get into like some of those B and C list new metal bands, and that's where it gets kind of funky.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been nice to see kind of a resurgence of that time period lately.
But another cool new metal fact. I know maybe we're almost done here, but Dave and I went to go see System of a Down at Wachovia Spectrum in Philadelphia in 2006.
Yes.
But we didn't know each other. 2005, excuse me. They were on tour with the Mars Volta.
Yeah.
And it was the best. I mean, they're like my favorite band ever.
Oh, yeah.
So that's a fact. New metal podcast.
New metal.
Our top 5 favorite bands ever.
Yes.
Absolutely. Well, I think that's a great way to end it. So make sure you guys are checking out So Unknown. And once again, Lou, David, Jesus Peace, thanks for taking some time here.
Thank you so much.
KNOTFEST.com, new pod.